In the 23rd century, humanity's neglect led to overpopulation and pollution that devastated the planet. Survivors now live within a colossal domed city, sealed off from the outside world. Within the dome, life is devoted to pleasure, free from toil or responsibility, all managed by an omniscient AI. The AI controls every aspect of life, including reproduction, raising children, and maintaining the population. Babies are created in artificial nurseries, and no one knows their parents. Every citizen is born with a gem embedded in their hand that changes color with age, turning red when they approach 30. At that point, they are terminated in a ritual called carousel, a process celebrated as a spiritual renewal where the dead are believed to be reborn as infants. Names reflect this society's values, with everyone given a number to denote their generation. Despite the apparent utopia, some discover the truth about carousel, that it is not renewal but death, and try to escape. These people are called runners. To prevent their escape, the AI created the Sandmen, enforcers tasked with hunting down runners. Logan 5, a loyal Sandman, begins his day visiting the nursery to see Logan 6, an infant created from his genetic material. This brief moment of curiosity is interrupted by his friend and fellow Sandman, Francis 7, who triggers an alarm. Francis reminds Logan that curiosity can lead to dangerous thoughts, and they head off to join the crowd gathering for the monthly carousel event. The Sandmen, clad in black uniforms, are easily distinguishable from the civilians who wear clothes matching the color of their gems. Those with red gems are closely monitored as their time is almost up. The carousel ritual takes place on a grand stage where participants, wearing masks, stand in a circle around a massive glowing lotus. The stage begins to spin, and the participants are lifted into the air one by one. Small explosions mark their deaths, but the crowd cheers, celebrating what they believe to be their renewal. As Logan and Francis watch the spectacle, they are alerted to a runner attempting to flee. They spring into action, tracking the runner using advanced scanners. Cornering the man on a high balcony, Logan fires his weapon, causing the runner to fall to his death. Using his scanner, Logan identifies the man and discovers he had undergone a face change, a surgical procedure often used by runners to evade capture. Logan collects the man's belongings, including a peculiar metal ankh, before the cleanup crew arrives to vaporize the body with a specialized device. Later, Logan returns to his luxurious apartment. Seeking companionship, he uses a machine to summon a partner. A man appears first, but Logan quickly changes the selection to a woman, summoning Jessica 6. Jessica wears a necklace with a pendant resembling the ankh Logan found. However, their encounter doesn't go as planned. Jessica seems uneasy and declines Logan's advances, revealing that she is grieving the loss of a friend in carousel. When Jessica questions the morality of termination, Logan grows defensive, dismissing her concerns and warning her against such thoughts. Jessica's sadness and questions linger in Logan's mind even after she leaves. The next day, Logan encounters a wounded Sandman who reveals he was attacked by a group of teenage rebels known as the Cubs while pursuing a runner. The incident sparks a conversation between Logan and Francis about face changes. As Logan recalls the runner from the previous day, their discussion leads Logan to suspect that some clinics might be aiding runners. At Sandman headquarters, Logan submits the confiscated ankh and other items to the AI for analysis. To his surprise, the AI takes longer than usual, and then instructs Logan to identify the ankh's symbol. Logan, unfamiliar with it, is further questioned about the word sanctuary. When he admits ignorance, the AI explains that the ankh and the term are linked to over 1,500 runners who have never been caught. This shocks Logan, as he'd believed all runners were eventually terminated. The AI then gives Logan a startling new assignment. It authorizes him to leave the dome's sealed boundaries to locate and destroy Sanctuary, a mythical haven for runners. Logan is confused, having been taught there is nothing outside the dome. To help him blend in as a runner, the AI forcibly removes several years from his lifespan, turning his gem red and marking him for imminent termination. Logan panics, demanding to know if his years will be restored after the mission. But the AI provides no answers and powers down, leaving him in turmoil. Determined to find answers, Logan visits Francis and asks if he's ever seen anyone renewed. Francis dismisses the question as absurd, echoing the societal belief in Carousel's promise. Frustrated, Logan summons Jessica again and shows her his red gem, claiming he wants to run. Jessica is skeptical and accuses Logan of killing a runner to obtain the ankh. When Logan mentions the word sanctuary, Jessica becomes visibly alarmed. She refuses to trust him and leaves abruptly. Logan discreetly follows Jessica and observes her meeting with a group of friends. Logan had no idea that a secret group of runners had instructed Jessica to kill him because he knew too much. One day, Jessica pretended to trust him and led him to the arcade, intending to carry out her mission. But before she could act, Logan learned of another runner in trouble. Jessica reluctantly agreed to join him in finding the rebel. As they made their way, Jessica wondered aloud about the cubs, the wild delinquents born to breeders. She confessed she wished she could have met her mother, which Logan found amusing. Soon, they arrived at Cathedral Station, a chaotic place where the cubs ruled. The area was in shambles, with graffiti and broken structures everywhere. As they explored, they stumbled upon a little girl who told Jessica not to be afraid before darting away. Jessica wanted to follow her, but Logan suspected it was a trap. Using his scanner, Logan located the runner, but before they could approach, a gang of cubs surrounded them. The cubs taunted them, but Logan pitied them, pointing out the futility of their lives since none of them stayed there after turning 16. This angered the cubs, who moved to attack, but Logan fired his gun to scare them off. Terrified, the cubs scattered. Logan scanned again and found the runner. She tried to defend herself, but Logan surprised her by saying he wanted to help, showing her the Ankh symbol as proof. However, they were unaware that Francis, Logan's former ally, had followed them and was eavesdropping. The runner didn't know anything about the sanctuary, so Logan gave her a small item for protection and left with Jessica. Moments later, Francis killed the runner. As they escaped, Jessica admitted she now believed Logan and wouldn't kill him, but she refused to introduce him to her friends. They wouldn't trust a Sandman like him. Logan then decided he wanted a new face, so Jessica took him to a surgery center that secretly helped runners. The doctor was skeptical of Logan's intentions, but Jessica convinced him to proceed. Logan lay on a table as the doctor demonstrated the machine's healing abilities by making a small cut on his face and instantly sealing it. Just as the procedure was about to begin, the doctor received a call that made him turn on Logan. He deactivated the healing function and used the surgery lasers to attack him. Jessica reacted quickly, shoving the doctor aside, but not before Logan was injured. Logan fought back, ultimately overpowering the doctor and using the machine against him. He and Jessica fled just as Francis arrived. Francis tried to stop them, but Logan knocked him down and kept running. Jessica led Logan through a secret tunnel that connected to a place called the Love Shop. Inside, the duo dodged distractions from the peculiar workers and slipped out the back, but Francis was close behind. They reached a hidden area where runners lived. Logan secretly activated his tracker to alert the Sandmen but didn't reveal his plan. When the runners arrived, they were skeptical of Logan's intentions and surrounded him with burning spears. Before things escalated, a witness vouched for Logan, explaining how another Sandman had been chasing him. Convinced Logan was genuine, the runners allowed him to use the tunnel to the sanctuary. Jessica, despite having a few years left before her gem turned, decided to go with him. Their journey was interrupted when Sandmen burst in, attacking the runners. Logan and Jessica ran, firing back to defend themselves. Francis confronted Logan, demanding he prove his loyalty by killing Jessica. Instead, Logan fired near him to scare him off and continued running with Jessica. They came to a door that required an Ankh to open. Jessica's necklace slipped into the water, but Logan used the Ankh he'd taken from the dead runner to unlock it. They slipped through just as the door shut, leaving Francis behind. However, Francis retrieved Jessica's necklace and followed them. Meanwhile, Logan and Jessica found themselves in an ancient breeding pen filled with fish. Shocked at the idea of people eating animals, they pressed onward. Francis caught up, shooting at them and shattering a water tank, flooding the area. The current swept Logan and Jessica off their feet, but they managed to climb a staircase and escape through another door. They ended up in an icy cavern filled with frozen sculptures and animal pelts. There, a strange robot named Box appeared, a fusion of man and machine. Box claimed to have food for them and offered to show them the sanctuary. However, when they followed him, they discovered a horrifying truth. Box had been freezing the runners to use as food. When human deliveries started instead of supplies, Box didn't see the difference. Box tried to capture Logan and Jessica, but Logan fired his gun, causing the cave to collapse. Using the distraction, they escaped through a warmer tunnel and eventually emerged outside the dome for the first time. They were stunned by the sight of the sun, not recognizing it, and marveled at the rough natural terrain. Jessica hated the feeling of the outdoors at first, but Logan calmed her down, and they continued their journey. That night, they rested beside a river and discovered their gems had turned clear, signaling they were free from the dome's control. Overjoyed, Jessica finally allowed herself to grow close to Logan. The next day, they spotted a distant city and rushed toward it only to find it abandoned and overrun by nature. Exploring further, they came across the Lincoln Memorial and were amazed by the face of an old man. Inside another building, they found graves with inscriptions like "beloved husband" and "beloved wife," words they didn't understand. Deeper inside, they encountered an old man surrounded by cats. The man had no gem and no knowledge of the Dome City. Logan and Jessica were fascinated by his white hair and wrinkles, which Jessica called cracks. The old man explained that he grew up with his parents, who were now dead, and that the sanctuary was nothing more than a myth. While they talked, Francis arrived and held Jessica hostage. Logan distracted him by showing him his clear gem, but Francis, unwilling to accept the truth, attacked Logan. They fought fiercely, using books, furniture, and even a flagpole as weapons. Eventually, Logan overpowered Francis, knocking him down. As Francis lay dying, he noticed Logan's clear gem and finally believed Logan had been renewed. Francis took his final breath in Logan's arms, his once unshakable belief in the system finally broken as he stared at Logan's clear gem. Logan lowered his friend's body to the ground, his heart heavy. The old man joined them and gently explained what a grave was. Together, they dug a resting place for Francis in the cemetery among the ruins, marking the spot with a simple stone. As they stood over the freshly turned earth, Logan's resolve hardened. "I need to bring you back to the city," he told the old man. "You're living proof that everything we were taught is a lie." Jessica was skeptical. "You really think showing them an old man will change anything? They won't listen. They're trapped in their beliefs." Logan shook his head. "I'm not doing this for revenge, Jessica. I want to stop the carousel, to save people from dying for no reason." After a long silence, Jessica relented. "If there's even a chance, I'll help," she said. The old man, intrigued by the idea of seeing the mysterious Dome City, agreed to join them. The next morning, the trio began their journey back. Along the way, the old man entertained them with tales of the past. He spoke of life before the dome, of families, celebrations, and a time when people lived free. When they stopped to rest, the old man explained what the words husband and wife meant. Logan and Jessica, touched by the concept of lifelong companionship, decided to call each other by those terms. As they neared the city, they reached a massive hydro plant that supplied water to the dome. To avoid detection, Logan and Jessica had to leave the old man behind and sneak in through the water system. Promising to return for him, they jumped into the rushing water, swimming through large tanks and dark tunnels. Finally, they emerged in a pool within the city's lower levels, just in time to hear the ominous announcement of another carousel beginning. Logan and Jessica rushed to the arena, bursting into the crowded space as the ceremony began. The audience chanted for renewal as the carousel lifted its participants into the air, spinning them to their deaths. Logan shouted above the noise, holding up his clear gem. "There's no renewal. The gems are a lie, and so is the carousel." Jessica joined him, pleading with the crowd to listen, but the people only laughed, jeered, or dismissed them as mad. Before they could say more, the Sandmen arrived, arresting them and dragging them to the city's central AI for interrogation. Logan was strapped into a machine where a process called surrogating began. The AI probed his mind, searching for answers about the sanctuary and the fate of the runners. Each time the AI asked where the sanctuary was, Logan's thoughts involuntarily repeated, "There's no sanctuary, old man, old ruins, all frozen." The AI, unable to reconcile these truths with its programming, became stuck in an endless loop of questions. Jessica, watching helplessly, shouted, "You're breaking it, Logan. It doesn't know how to handle the truth." The AI's systems began to overload as Logan's memories played out on its monitors. Images of the old man, the ruins, and the frozen runners flashed across the screens. Sparks flew and alarms blared as the machine released Logan from its hold. The Sandmen moved to restrain him, but Logan grabbed his weapon and fought back, disabling the guards. He turned his weapon on the AI, firing repeatedly until its core exploded. The city began to collapse as the interconnected systems failed. Explosions erupted throughout the dome, and the once orderly world descended into chaos. Buildings crumbled and people fled in terror, screaming as debris rained down. Logan and Jessica made their way through the chaos, urging people to leave the dome. The panicked crowd surged toward the exits, which had once been sealed but now lay open. For the first time in their lives, the people stepped into the outside world. They were overwhelmed by the sunlight, the fresh air, and the vast open land. In the midst of this exodus, the old man appeared, waiting for them as promised. The crowd, seeing him for the first time, gathered around in wonder. They touched his wrinkles and white hair, marveling at his age and the proof of a life far beyond what they had believed possible. The old man chuckled kindly, answering their questions and easing their fears. Logan and Jessica stood back, watching with pride as the seeds of a new society began to sprout. The carousel was no more, the lies of renewal exposed, and the people were free to create a future of their own design. Jessica squeezed Logan's hand. As the sun set over the ruins of the dome, Logan, Jessica, and the old man looked to the horizon, where the promise of a new life awaited. And for you, my friend, a new movie recap awaits. Stay in the lounge for a bit longer by clicking on the recommendations on the right. Subscribe and drop a like if you want to return for more interesting stories. Grab your popcorn, enjoy yourself, and see you soon, my friend.